Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, as always, and we all know why it's important, and that would be to go down in your settings, look around here, yes, look around, find that subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell too so you'll know when I upload or when I just pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, the beast, the algorithm. Whew, I'm telling you, it's hard. It's gotten to the point where it's hard to talk about. I'm telling you. And also, I just want to thank y'all for watching the commercials and ask y'all to continue to watch the commercials because I cannot tell you how much that helps the channel. I mean, that is such a great support for the channel, and I appreciate it so very much. And also, right about here, that's the join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I will be so grateful, so thankful, so over the moon appreciative for your support. And also, if you just want to do a one time donation, our super thanks button is right over there. And all donations to the channel is always greatly appreciated. All right, y'all, we have some stuff to talk about. And it's not shout outs and it's not announcements. It is about my editing equipment. I do not have it. It is not available. When they cut off TikTok, they cut off, what's the name of it? CapCuts. And I use CapCuts for my editing to be able to put pictures up when I do like this and point at different pictures. And I can't do that. So we will not have any media in this particular podcast today. But y'all know what it's like with the read. You know what I always say about the read. No matter what, the read has to go on. Even when we don't have editing, even when just anything that goes on. If I'm tired, if I had a busy day or whatever, the read has to go on. And now, since I don't have any media available to put up pictures or anything like that, I don't even have the ability to do editing at all. So just be prepared that this is going to be a rough, bumpy read, but we are going to get through it. And we're just gonna have to do it the old fashioned way. I wish y'all would go back and watch some of my old reads. I'm telling you, I didn't know how to do editing back then. I didn't know how to put media in my particular podcast. And I just used my iPad. I would just hold it up and let y'all see it. And that's pretty much what we're going to do today. We're going to go back to old school. And just also know I am still learning. I am not good at this. I know, but if y'all would just be patient with me, I am trying to get better each and every day. Yeah, I have been at this for less than 6 months, I think. And I am, it's just some things I still don't know. It is still things that I make mistakes on that I have to sometimes go in and and correct. But just be patient with me, please. I know y'all will because sometimes I get overwhelmed. Some things I don't know how to do. And some things are just out of my control, like this particular thing about my editing. The only editing software I know how to use is CapCut, and CapCut is owned by the same people who owns TikTok, and they just cut everything off. But TikTok is back, but CapCut is not. And so I can't do any editing, y'all. I can't. And I can't put up any kind of media. But like I said, when I when I point at the internet streets, no internet streets is gonna show up today. They just not gonna do it. But we are going to get through it. We're gonna do it the old fashioned way, the way I used to do it when I first started and I didn't know anything. anything. I remember when I first got on here doing the read, I wasn't even really sure about my name or what, how I was going to proceed at all. And I knew nothing about editing. And it was really, really kind of rough. But it is some people who are still with me today that was with me since the beginning, and they have just helped me through it, loved me right on through to the point where I am right now, which is still, I have a lot of growing to do. I understand that my podcast is not as polished as some people's are, but I'll get there. I'll get there. But I'll tell you what, I bet they don't have better supporters than I do. I have the best. So y'all be patient with me, and also be patient with this particular podcast, because like I said, this particular thing is out of my control. They are just showing out over there on TikTok. I'm not going to get into my thoughts about TikTok and what went on there, but that was some real nonsense. That's all I'm going to say. And to cut off cap cuts too, but one day we'll have a conversation about it. But let's get into this read. Like I said, I'm going to do it the old fashioned way, the way I used to. Just pretty much just hold up my laptop and let y'all see what I'm talking about. And then I'll just read it and we'll just go from there. And like I said, y'all be patient with me. And because we're going to get through this read. That's just the way it is. And let's get to it. Okay. And y'all know when I am putting the read together, y'all know what I do. I jump in these internet streets with no picture, with no picture of the internet streets. But believe me, without the picture, I have been in these internet streets today. I have been on all the social media platforms, and I'm telling you, they are still hot. These internet streets are still hot. The squatters are still mad about a whole lot of stuff. They are still smoking about that Vanity Fair article, and they're also talking about how Camilla, I can't even say her name, Camilla Tominey is probably one of those sources, those unidentified, unnamed sources that are, quoted in that Vanity Fair article. That this was nothing but a organized and coordinated hit on Megan, that they made it all up to try to bring her down and bring her cooking show down. Because one thing about this whole thing is they are terrified. When I tell you terrified, they are terrified of Megan's success. Her becoming a billionaire just scares them to death, and they want to do everything that they can to try to tear her down. And this was all orchestrated. And all of those raggedy left behinds over there got together and coordinated that they were going to come out and do this and do that, made up that nonsense story about Kate being, sneaking and smuggling into that hospital getting chemotherapy. And that just backfired, just it just absolutely collapsed and folded like a tent when anybody put any kind of pressure on it, because of the fact that she was up in there talking all kinds of nonsense, and everything she said went against what doctors would advise if you have cancer. So it was a mess. And when in my last podcast, well, my last pop up, I was talking about how they called it their flop week. And that's exactly what it was, a flippity flop week. So we're going to get into it. Like I said, we're going to have to do it the old fashioned way because we ain't got no editing today. But I am sure it will be up by tomorrow and we will be back to normal. So it's just part of it, y'all. So let's hit it. Let's try to do the best we can, okay? Okay, I am going to start with a post that a squatty posted on X, formerly known as Twitter. And like I said, I made the rounds. I was over at Twitter. I was even on TikTok a little today, even though it was kind of acting jinky. But is it jinky or janky? I think it's janky. It was acting kind of janky, and I also was on Instagram, and I also was on X, formerly known as Twitter. I made my usual rounds, and I was on Blue Sky as well. But this particular post comes from X, formerly known as Twitter. And one of the squatties just kind of broke down the lie that they told about Kate being a patient getting her chemotherapy from that hospital, and her looking up at the name of the hospital and saying that that was the first time she entered that way through the front door because she had been smuggled through the back. And that just kind of just collapsed, to be honest. And then she got in there and started talking. And then people really figured out that she didn't know what she was talking about. So this particular, well, see, I'm so used to saying this particular squatty. This particular squatty, can you see? Oh my goodness, there it is. Y'all remember, like I said, my old school readers who used to be with me from the beginning, all of this is familiar to them. This is what I used to do. I just used to show them the screen on my on my iPad. This had to go back to old school. But this particular squatty said this. They just kind of broke it down in four different steps of how the lie just started to collapse. And what the final thing that they said at the end was, you don't even need to be asking in the first place because they never could get that lie straight. All right, this particular squatty, y'all, I'm gonna be pointing up here like I have some media because it's a habit. I'm gonna try not to, but like I said, this is going to be a bumpy ride, but we are going to get through it. We are going to get this read done because nothing, when I tell you nothing stops a read, it would have to be something like the internet goes out, I get really, really sick, or something happened with a family member or the dog. Other than that, the read goes on. Let me tell you. But like I said, this squatty said in four different steps. Step one, the palace released a story that doesn't make sense. None of what they said. Her being smuggled in for chemotherapy. Now, this is a billionaire. And you know that Kate, if she had chemotherapy, but none of us believe that she had it. But if she did, it would have been done in her home. And I saw online where this particular hospital offers that service that you can receive chemotherapy at home. But yet and still, she didn't do that. She was smuggled in the back. They need to stop. And then this particular squatty said, step two, their friends in the press let them know it doesn't make sense. Because we all know that the press works hand in glove with Kensington Palace. They are allies. They are the extended PR branch or the extended PR arm of Kensington Palace. So of course they're gonna say what you're telling us didn't make sense. Just like they were saying when she was talking about she was cancer free, and then they repeated what she said in that video, and then all of a sudden, don't say that, don't say that, and they were talking amongst themselves saying how that didn't even make any sense. So they was letting them know, wait a minute, what you're saying is not making sense. And then this particular squatter says, step three, they leak more information that tries to make story one make sense. Yes, they kept trying to clean it up, but they never quite was able to do that. And then it says step four, when that doesn't work, They leaked that no one should be asking questions anyway. Y'all remember that? They planted that story in, I think it was People, from this other cancer patient who they said was another cancer patient that was there. But I watched the video as much as I could. Y'all know how I am about watching Kate. It is so painful to watch. But I watched it as much as I could. And this particular woman, I don't remember, her taking any pictures with her, but maybe she was there. But they did a story about her saying that Kate doesn't need to explain to us what kind of cancer she has or anything like that. Y'all remember that? I covered it in a podcast. Yeah, she did that. And then these are some of the replies to that Pacific, I get it right, that particular squattie's post. And it says, smuggled in, what BS? It's absolutely BS. The whole story, the whole premise of the story, her being there, her saying that she was in remission when she already said it in September. And that's what the whole production of the shampoo commercial was all about. It was about telling us that she was supposed to be in remission. And then all of a sudden, here we back in January repeating that when Megan's cooking show is supposed to come out. Yes, yes, yes. But I'm with this particular person who posted this and said, it says smuggled in. What BS? With all those billions of pounds, they would have had personal doctors and a heap of nurses at the palace. They really do think we're gullible. Where is the lie? They just tell the British people anything and expect them to eat it up. And my whole thing is, where's those Filipino nurses? And he said that while he was out, saying that she had these Filipino nurses taking care of her. And we ain't heard not one thing from the Filipino nurses. And do they work over there at that hospital? What happened to them? I guess after they got through taking care of Kate, they just puffed and disappeared in a cloud of smoke, like Samantha Stevens. And if you know, you know. Tell me who Samantha Stevens is in the comments. Tell me who Samantha Stevens is. Yeah, it's just like poof, like Samantha Stevens. I guess that's what happened with them. But anyway, and then this other person posted under that and said, thus is the lie. A billionaire would be treated at home. She never received chemotherapy there. Just looked at the nurse's face and raised eyebrows. They saying you look at that video if you have the stomach for it. I'm telling you, my stomach turned if I absolutely watch Kate for too long. But if you have the stomach for it, go watch it, because this particular person said if you look at the nurse's face, they look like, what is going on here? And said we all know that that is a lie. And we do. We absolutely do. And that scene with her in the door and everybody got their phones up, you know that that's not a policy in any hospital that I know of, that you can walk around with your phone while you're on duty. What is that? I mean, it is such a blatant lie from start to finish. And then that whole thing about her looking up and seeing the sign with the name of the hospital. She can finally come through the front door because she had been sneaked and was always smuggled in the back. Give me a break. That is so unbelievable. But yet and still, they always serve up the unbelievable. Who is working over there in Kensington Palace? It must be somebody who writes children's stories. I mean, it has to be, because they are so fanciful. These these stories that they come up with is just absolutely like a fairy tale. I mean, come on now. And To me, it just says everything about Kate's character. She is willing to go along with every bit of it. She is willing to lie and lie and lie and lie. And I said this before, her and Camilla are no different. They are just two different sides of the same coin. That is the reason why they have been able to survive in the institution. It's because they are just is it's no low that they won't go. It's no lie that they won't tell. It's nobody that they won't use for PR. Cancer patients, come over here. Let's get this money shot. Crippled child, put your crippled leg on me and let's get this money shot. Blind person, give me that stick with the red tip on it and let me hold it and let you stand beside me and let us get this money shot. That's who those folks are over there. That is exactly who they are. And they have proved themselves to be exactly that. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm going to show you this. All right. Can you see it? There it is. And it is a post that Kaiser put out because she wrote an article about an article. And the name of and the post says Princess Kate had to be smuggled in for her chemotherapy treatment last year. That's the lie that they told. That is the lie that they served up for people to feast on. And everybody who had two brain cells looked at each other and said, "What is this? What is this you serving?" Because it just does not make any sense. I think in my past podcast, I was saying it's like saying 2 plus 2 is 5. We say it's 5. We telling you it's 5. Now you figure out how to make it 5. And that's exactly what this was all about. Weird as it can be. And that is the same name of Kaiser's. Here it is. I'm gonna try to let y'all see it. This is what we have to do today. Like I said, we have to go old school. And like I said, my old school readers remember this is the way I used to do it before I learned how to edit. I'm just saying. But the name of the article is Princess Kate had to be smuggled in for chemotherapy treatment last year. Ain't nobody buying that. And then Kaiser go on to say, as I said yesterday, the cleanup on Princess Kate, the Princess of Wales visit to the Royal Martin Hospital began immediately. They knew that they had SHIT in their pants before the visit was over because Kate was up in there telling cancer patients to get in the sun. Drinking water, drink water. Didn't have that cold cap. What is that? I didn't have that. She was in there just absolutely telling everybody who could absolutely put and two together and know it's four that this was nothing but a blatant lie and a performance. And she was not pulling it off very well. All right, Kaiser goes on to say, practically while she was still meeting with cancer patients and saying some truly bizarre things. In addition to her statement about recognizing beeps, I didn't get that one. She was saying that she recognized some beeps. I guess maybe with the machine that give you the chemotherapy. I guess that's what she's saying. And she just want to try to pretend like she had this harrowing experience. And and when you talk to her, she don't recognize none of the equipment or anything. I said this in my past podcast. When that lady asked her about that cold cap, Kate didn't have no idea what that was. She was wondering the whole time that lady was talking to her, what is that on that lady's head? And then when the lady asked her about it, she just didn't know what it was about. So she said the best way is to deny that I ever had it. She thought that was a safe answer. And it turns out to be the most revealing answer of them all. I'm just saying. But it goes on to say that she was saying that she recognized the beep and craving the sunshine. And she showed up tan as she could be for Wilmington. She absolutely did. She was absolutely saying what she had done, but because she never went through the journey, she never had chemotherapy. She did not know that you weren't supposed to be in the sun. She didn't know that was something she needed to lie about because we all know lying comes just like a fish to water for her. I'm just saying. And it goes on to say, let me make sure I get to my place. And she also said that she did not use the cold cap. Yes, sitting up there with every strand of hair she ever had, saying she didn't use the cold cap, which prevent hair loss for many cancer patients. Instead of devoting a lot of energy to Kate's frankly weird statement, the British media went into overdrive to keenly explain how Kate's visit was one off, specifically timed to try to steal the Duchess of Sussex's thunder. Exactly. This is what it was all about. Everybody knows that what it, everybody knows that's what it was all about. And how when she was up there and saying all this stuff. But Rebecca English had the nerve to sit up there on that little show that they do and saying this was a master class in how to do a visit and how Megan's visit was somehow horrible. That can somehow take lessons from Kate. And I guess you could take lessons to sit up there and lie. I guess that's it. So, yes, they went into full protection mode to protect her basically from herself because it has become very clear that Kate has an inability to do anything right. She just cannot pull anything off. And she's not by herself. We all know William. Anytime he sit down and open his mouth, he is giving everything away. And that's the way Kate was in this particular visit. But then it goes on to say, well, Kaiser goes on to say that Becky English, big back Becky. I thought I was the only one that called her Becky, but it's Rebecca English. I love to call her Becky. Becky English at the Mail got the exclusive, and so did Kate Manzi. Y'all know how I feel about Kate Manzi, that little weasel at the time. And basically, they were reporting that this was not Kate coming back to work. That this was just a one-off thing, and that don't expect her to come back to work anytime soon. And I want y'all to put a pin in that because we're going to discuss what Kate is off doing now. She's unable to cut a ribbon. She's unable to make a speech. She's unable to go and look at cans at a food bank. She is unable to absolutely have that little concerned puppy dog look on her face when someone is talking to her about something serious that they're going through. Now she don't have the energy for that. She do not have the energy to go back to work. But she does have the energy to do what she's doing, and we're going to talk about it a little later. So stick a pin in that. And then they go on to talk about how well Kaiser go in, and I think this was found in the Daily Mail, and she discussed how Kate was smuggled into the hospital. They want us to believe that, and what Kate's new normal is. Sources close to Kate point out that two words in her statement on Tuesday that the new normal. But what does it look like for the family that for centuries have been, see, I cannot see y'all. Hold on. Uh, uh, it says for centuries has been reclusively sticking together. Wait a minute. Hold on. Basically what they're saying is the new normal is that they're not going to be doing all the things that they usually do, and I think they're just preparing the public for how they're going to be when they become king and queen. They're not going to do anything, and if they have it William's way, they're going to spend most of their time here in America, because we have not forgotten that they tried to, and I guess they still attempting to put and have tried to start a charity here in America to give them a reason to come over here. You remember they were trying to get a copyright for a charity here in America. And so I guess this is what this means. They want to get the British public used to not seeing them, not working, not doing any of the things that the Queen and Charles does, not doing any of that. They just want to do the fun part, like wear the big hat and the tiaras and go to America and be over here trying to copy and paste Harry and Meghan's life. I'm just saying. And they talk about how Kate's life would never be the same, and her schedule neither. Her schedule will never be the same. Kate never worked in the first place. We all know Kate barely broke a hundred engagements a year. So of course, if it's if it's never going to be the same, we ain't gonna see Kate. And her performance at that hospital is a good reason why they want to keep her off the world stage, because she is a complete embarrassment. You couldn't understand nothing she was saying. She tried to say that her mumbling, y'all remember that? She tried to say her mumbling is due to her cancer treatment and going through cancer. The words just don't stay in my head. They just don't go in they just kind of fly out of my head. And it was plenty of people saying, well, this happened 20 years ago. We thought you just claimed cancer. You saying you had cancer 20 years ago, because your mumbling has been going on for the past 20 years. So, yes, so she's saying that, and she's talking about the kids. And Kate does not, she wants to have her and William are the exact same. That's why I say you can't say anything about Kate without saying about William. William chose the woman that was just like him, like Harry chose a woman was just like him. William chose this woman because she is just like him. He don't want to do none of it. None of it. But he wants to be praised and absolutely part of the global elite, meaning that he wants to be like Harry. He wants to be considered a global statesman. Y'all remember when he was over there at the Earth Flop? His own people was calling him a global statesman. I thought that was something you would leave to other people to call you. Not you call yourself that, but he had his people out there calling him a global statesman. So he is just like her, and she is like him. They are one in the same. But this is what's going on. And this is what Kaiser said after that. She said, while I can't pinpoint it, I've been getting the vibe this week that the British media is annoyed. They're not ready to burn it all down. And clearly, they're happy that Kate is petty and conceited enough to try to steal Megan's thunder, which was perfect. Now, I hate it, and I am so sympathetic to those people who lost everything in those wildfires. But even good can come out of tragedy. And the good that came out of that tragedy, I'm sure, is a lot of good that came out of the tragedy. But a little part of the good that came out of the tragedy was Megan postponing her premiere with Love Megan, because it exposed them. it exposed the smear campaign and how they had set it all up. Can you imagine how many people was involved in this plot to try to take Megan down and take her show down? Because this is what it was. It was all hands on deck for a cooking show. Can you imagine how insecure you have to be to absolutely feel that a cooking show is a threat to you? They are scared, SHIT, of Megan. Megan is so powerful and they know it. I often think about Diana and how she was talking about how they feared a strong woman because they don't know what she's going to do with her power. And that's exactly what it is with Megan. All Megan want to do is bake some cakes and be out there in her garden with her dogs and her kids with a straw hat on and just absolutely make a living and be happy. But they just find that as so threatening because she is so popular. She's so interested. Everybody talks about her. She draw the eyeballs and they cannot handle it. And it was all hands on deck. William, the horse didn't come out. William, Charles, and even brought Kate out to say that she was in remission again. It is, and they saying that even even though with all of that, the British media is still being really annoyed because they don't have anything to report on. Who is doing anything? They don't have nothing interesting to report on. Chris Ship really ain't got he don't go on television and talk about anything. What he gonna talk about? Charles going to a food bank? Boring. Boring. William going to Scotland and nothing but berries. All the interesting stuff they can't report on. And the stuff that they can report on is boring. So I would be annoyed too. And it says they're working their errors off trying to cover hers. They're working. Wait a minute. The part about William isn't slacking off is hilarious too. So basically, they were talking about, Rebecca English, talking about William is just working just as hard. William has not worked hard since ever. He has never been a full time role. When? When has William ever been a full time role? Him and Kate barely breaks 100, and that's when they were considered healthy. So, and he has done next to nothing here lately. So I don't know what they're talking about, but Kaiser found that hilarious as well. And let's see what else did she have to say. She said repeatedly that he has every right to. Wait a minute. It just feels like the whales are really shake on shaky ground. Like this is the house of cards that everyone is trying to keep standing. I agree with that because it's a lot going on. And social media is absolutely talking. The streets are hot. That visit to the hospital was a complete catastrophe. It absolutely was. And another article has come out about William, and we're going to kind of touch on it later on. But yes, about him being the slumlord that he is. And so it is a lot going on. And then, oh Lord, Charles. Charles is going to show up at a food bank with his kilt on a helicopter and look at some cans. And the food bank had to shut down for 2 days in order to accommodate his visit. And I'm telling you, the dragon, the dragon, I'm telling you, it is. But let me put this up. Well, I can't put it up. I'm so used to saying I'm put it up. Well, I can show it to you. Can you see it? Oh, it's going to be hard. There we go. Uh, See, I had all my media ready and I can't show it. But this particular post says this, and it shows how Rebecca English is lying for them. In one post, she had posted about how Kate was in remission and how she was smuggled into the hospital and all of that. But then when they start seeing on social media, people weren't buying that. It was like it was just a regular engagement. Y'all know we talked about it on the podcast. Where was the treatment team? Where was the nurses? Where were the doctors? Where were the people that made this remission happen? Where were they? And why were they absent? And why is she treated just like any engagement, saying that she just came there to thank? I mean, no, she said she came there to show her appreciation for their good work. She just made a general statement that she would make if she was just on an engagement. And people noticed that. And a lot of chatter online about it. And we all know they monitor online, they monitor the Squatties podcast. They absolutely do because you notice one of my big things when I was on here was how Kate hugged that little girl that had cancer and how she put her face to the camera. Well, this time when she hugged the lady, a cancer patient, she made sure the cancer patient's face was to the camera. They're listening. Little things like that, and you see them switching up. They are monitoring what we say. And all I can say is welcome to the chat. Welcome, because you're going to hear all kinds of stuff here on this here podcast because we're going to call you out. But I digress. But yes, so Big Back Becky had wrote that, about the remission and all that. But then they heard the chatter online. They heard about how people was talking. Where is the treatment team? Where's the doctors? This is strange and all that. And then Big Back Becky went back and told a lie. Do you remember that lie she had told about seeing William over there visiting Kate at a hospital? Now Kate said she never was at. She was at this one. The lies, the lies. I turned into Candy Burrows. The lies, the lies. But yes, the lies. And so she has lied again and said now the story is that the reason Kate didn't thank the doctors and her treatment team and have them there and everything like that, she had went secretly in December and did that. And it says the Prince of Wales' secret trip to her cancer hospital before Christmas, how Kate sweetly returned with festive gifts to thank nursing staff in private. She didn't post no new pictures. The pictures that she posted was not the pictures of Kate going and thanking the nursing staff in private or thanking the doctors that treated her in private. No pictures whatsoever. Just the same pictures was posted of her when she went in this last engagement. Same pictures, no new pictures, but they want us to believe that she went in December quietly and privately, but we don't see no pictures. And let's think back how when William went and did something supposedly quietly and privately, they had a professional photographer there. So you telling me that Kate would not have a professional photographer and a videographer there to record that for prosperity? Stop it. Stop it. This is a lie either that Kate made up, that Kensington Palace made up, or Big Back Becky made up on her own, like she made up that story about seeing William going to visit Kate in the hospital. She did it on her own because we all know that she is notorious for covering for them and making up lies for them. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I just think that this was them, Big Back Becky and KP getting together, coming up with something to try to soothe the the breast of the savage beast, which is social media, because social media was just talking about it. We were talking about it on the podcast. I was like, what? Because I had this post and we went through it. I said, I never even thought about that. Where's the treatment team? Where's the doctors? None. None was to be seen. But now they want us to believe that she went quietly in December. No pictures were shown or nothing. This is just what here it is. Y'all believe it. Now we are just like North Korea and Russia and Iran. Now we on the same level of these particular despot countries, and when it comes to propaganda. But here it is. Go ahead on and believe that. Is that not nonsense? It is. But this particular squatty said this. So let me get this straight. Cancer tourist Kate had already thanked the staff in December 2024 when she secretly visited with gifts. Now, y'all know. I mean, it is ridiculous. Why did she do a impromptu visit on the 14th of January 2025, a day before the lifestyle show was meant to be aired? Yes. And they knew they blew that visit. They knew it. Kate absolutely went in there and just blew it. She was so unprepared. She didn't know anything that was going on. She hadn't had the experience of a cancer patient because she never was one. And so she went in there to wing it, and she absolutely showed herself, and she absolutely blew it, and social media picked it apart. And this is cleanup, like Kaiser was saying. They were doing cleanup before she even got out of the hospital, before the visit was over, because it was such a mess. But yet it's still that, let me just say this. And that could be a reason why this hit piece absolutely dropped the way it did, to try to get us off of the fact of how big she blew it in that hospital and how she exposed herself to be exactly what she is. And that is a liar, because anybody who has had any kind of experience with an illness and chemotherapy, like an illness like cancer and chemotherapy, know that sunlight is not the cure. It is not. But yet it's there. And all the other stuff about the cold cap, all of these things, and talking about she missed her port, but every picture she's photographed, ain't no port to be seen. No scar, no nothing. And you best believe we're gonna be looking for that scar. And I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't put a scar up there for us. Because y'all know they absolutely look at these particular podcasts, and they know we're gonna be looking for it. We're gonna look for everything. That's what we do. We look for everything because they look for everything on our faves. And when they can't find anything, they lie about it. That is the difference between us. We are not going to lie about anything. Are we going to go through everything and pick it apart? Absolutely. But we're not going to make anything up. And that is the difference. I'm just saying. But yes, this is what they want us to believe. And this particular squad is saying, you see the problem with the story? Yes. Yes, I do. And it's a big one. I'm just saying. And all right, I'm going to put this up because Roy Nika is using that poor lady that Kate met, and she's doing a story. She is the new cancer prop that little young girl was. Now, the little young girl passed, unfortunately, and that still makes me sad to even talk about it, because that little girl, she didn't get a chance to live her life. And I often think about her little brother and how much he loved her and how what he must be going through. This is real people here. These are real lives. And they could care less. To me, that just shows you what awful people they are because they don't even think about that. But to me, this lady is going to serve as the new cancer prop for Kate and for the news media because this is Roy Nika doing a story about this lady. And if you can see it, I'm going to try to get it up, but this is it right there, the old fashioned way. And Roy Nika wrote talking about when Cat Fields, that's the name of the lady, was asked if she was happy to meet a VIP at the Royal Northern NHS Hospital. She had no idea that the Princess of Wales would be sitting down to chat about both their cancer journeys. It After the chat, you could absolutely figure out it was only one person in the conversation is actually has a cancer journey because the other one who sit down there didn't know nothing about nothing that was going on and any of the of the usual experiences that you have when you have cancer. I'm just saying. And it said here's Catherine's brave honest piece for the Sunday Times. So they're saying that here's so they did a whole piece on this lovely 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 lady. I'm sure she is the greatest person. She looks like she's so sweet, and I only wish her the best because I can only imagine, and I'm so grateful that I just have to imagine what she has gone through and what she's going through. But she's been used. She's been used as a prop, and she is going to be the new prop because they didn't need one until that little girl died. Now they need another one, and that is her. And this particular squatty reposted that Roy Nika's post and said this: a real cancer patient meeting a cancer tourist. Where is the lie? Because Kate absolutely proved herself to be exactly that with this particular visit. It says, this is not brave and honest. It's the most disgusting piece of propaganda I've seen. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? But to me, it just shows that it's not a low that Kate won't go. And it says how people, it said, now people know that the royal family has no limit and will go to any length to deceive people. Where is the lie? It's nothing that they won't do. And then some people tell me, you really think she would fake cancer? Yes, yes, I believe that. And more and more people are believing that because she's showing herself to be somebody that don't know anything about what's going on, and she physically do not look like somebody who has gone through cancer. Even when she said she was going through the journey, we all saw her at Wimbledon. She was tan, she looked healthy, she looked like she looked like she hadn't been through anything except through a vacation. That's the only thing she looked like. I'm just saying. And so, if anybody who have been paying attention know that it's not a low that they won't go. And if you think that they won't fake cancer, I'm telling you. And it's plenty of people who has. I'm just saying. And I'm going to talk about this particular post. And in the post, I'm not going to hold it up, but it's just a post that says Princess Kate won't return to full time duties for a long time after struggle. And so this particular squatty reposted that and said this: too sick to do royal duties, but not too sick to ski on those sunny mountain slopes. Yes, you heard it. Yes. Kate and William supposedly are on a ski trip. Now she do not have the energy to absolutely cut a ribbon or to show up at a food bank or a what else do they like to go to? They like to go to art museums and they what else do they do? They they're I think she is part of she's the the captain general of the Irish Guard or something. She can't show up for none of that. None of that, but she can absolutely go skiing. Enjoy a skiing trip. And so I'm gonna put well, I see I'm doing that. Y'all gonna have to excuse me because I'm so used to having my media. This particular post says this, and it's funny because he is laughing because it is so funny. And it says the absolute delusion that monarchists suffer from. Skiing is highly physical. You can't possibly tell me that Kate is so well that she can't take her kids on. Wait a minute, let me reread it. You can't possibly tell me that Kate is so well she can take her kids on a ski trip, but isn't well enough to accompany Williams in a remembrance service for the Holocaust. Well, it's the lie, because William is going to be doing that, a remembrance service. But she just ain't able to do that. But she's on a ski vacation right now. Please be a effing for real. That's what this person said. And then the original post said, only those who have been skiing will understand how tiring on the body it can be. Every week, Wadey tells us how fake that cancer was. Exactly. And she just, oh, she have good days and she have bad days and this and that. And it's my understanding after chemo, that's when you feel the best because you have gone through the worst. And I'm telling you, she didn't look like she was worse for wear in any of it. But yeah, she is on a ski trip. She is on the ski slopes skiing. But yet and still, she just cannot muster up enough energy to so-called work, which is a cut a ribbon and pull a string to let a plaque be seen. Can't do it for 15 minutes because we all know that their engagement is 15, 30 minutes. An hour is very, very unusual for them. But yet and still, she can't do any of that. It really, really is funny. I'm telling you. And I'm not going to point up there, but look at this. Now, that's not a recent picture of her, but this is what the post said. This is the original post, but this is a repost. But the original post said this: the Princess of Wales recently traveled to the Alps on a family ski trip. According to a source this morning, Kate, 43, was reportedly joined by her husband, Prince William, 42, and their three children, Prince George, 11, Princess Charlotte 9, and Prince Louis 6. So they're on a skiing holiday. And this particular squad said this: let's wait and see what she's uh, it says, let's wait. Let's see what her next move is. She stated that she's listening to her body. So it might have told her that she's feeling strong enough to go on a ski trip. Something tells me we'll be reading headlines saying that she overdid it, can't work, and will be resting for the next several months. Well, it's a lie. Kate don't want to work. Never wanted to work. Never have been good at it, never have been good at the job. That is the reason why she don't want to do it. Now she loves all the clapping and everything like that, but the speaking and putting herself out there, she did not know that the job meant that you had to do something. She thought all she had to do was bag dumb William. And once she did that, that was it. It wasn't much to it. But then Megan came along and was actually good, actually great at the job, could speak, had ideas, put ideas into motion, absolutely got results, just showed what a modern princess or a modern queen should be. Like Queen Maxima. Ooh, now that's a queen. She is, I think she has a job with the UN and just really, really capable. And the Spanish queen, Leticia, she is smart. Oh my goodness, always doing stuff. And Kate is dumb as a rock. Cannot string together two, I used to say two sentences, but I'm going to say two or three words now. She can't even do that. And she walk around and look like most of the time like she is a deer in headlights. And but she is so pathetic at the job. And that is the reason why they hate Megan so much. Because Megan just highlights what a bad choice William has made and what a trash king and queen they're gonna be. Because Harry and Meghan really are the modern day king and queen, the one that you would want, the one that you could be proud of, the one who actually would love the people and would work for the people. William and Kate could care less about the people, never have. It's always been about them and the money shot. I'm just saying. All right, this right here, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there it is. It is an article that has come out about William and this prison that he is leasing to the government, and he is getting a 1.5 million pounds a year. They are running that check to him and the duchy, but they're not using the building. It's rat infested, and it says taxpayers' money from a rat infested prison, which closed in August over toxic gas fears, even though it has 24 years left on its lease. For the next 24 years, they're gonna have to run a what is it, 1.5 million pound check to William and the duchy. This is how these people are getting over. The next 24 years, he is going to get a million and a half pounds for something that the government is not even using. That sounds like a grift to me. I'm just saying. And this particular squatty posted that and said this: when Prince William isn't receiving secret settlements from Rupert Murdoch, and we all know what the secret settlement is. And let me just say this, and I'll finish reading the post. But the secret settlement that William got, William went to Rupert Murdoch. Well, let me just put it this way: Harry was not the only phone that was hacked. William's phone was hacked too. And William secretly settled with Rupert Murdoch. And a lot of people say also put the invisible contract in place for the protection of him and his mannequin. He settled for $1 million. But do you think he had any kind of brotherly love or care for Harry? No. He got that money, put it in his foundation, and kept his mouth closed and did not care to tell Harry that he could negotiate and get some money for himself. He could care less about Harry. This is why I don't believe William has ever loved his brother, because there's no way in HE double hockey sticks I got some money and my brother could get some money and I wouldn't tell him. you know what? You go over there and get your money, or you need to go over there and negotiate with them. You get your money. Not saying Harry would have took the money, but his brother was not looking out for him. And when people do things when they think people are not looking, that is who they are. He did that when Harry was not looking. Nobody, when he thought nobody was going to find out, he did that and he never clued Harry in on what was going on. Harry only found out about that when he started suing and he started getting information from these people that he had did that. And that to me, that proves everything to me. Because when people do things, when they don't think that they're going to be found out, when nobody's looking, that's who they are. That's who they are. And he didn't think anybody was looking. And so he absolutely did that to his brother. He didn't want Harry to have that. He has never wanted Harry to have anything. Don't get it twisted. He proves it time after time after time after time. He don't want his brother to have anything. I'm just saying. So let me go ahead on and read this, but just a little example of who William is and what kind of brother he has been to Harry. The kind. My whole thing is with a brother like that, who needs enemies? I mean, when you don't even have your baby brother's back, you know that you done got some money and you don't try to let him in on it, it would be his decision if he wanted to take it or not. But you don't even want him to have it. I'm just saying. But I'm going to go on. It says when Prince William isn't receiving secret settlements from Rupert Murdoch, he's a slumlord who takes rent from tenants in moldy infested homes and 1.5 million a year from taxpayer or a prison that is empty. That's who he is. He's a slumlord. And he makes no qualms about it because after that Channel 4 documentary, they ain't made no correction. You ain't heard them write anything about how William has corrected all of the mold in these people's home, how William has gone out of his way to make life better for his tenants. He did none of that. He just waiting for people to stop talking about it and to proceed as usual. And that tells me everything I need to know about his character, who he is. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I know it has been a hard go with not without having media. But I just want to say this. We will be back on track tomorrow. And it's one more, hold on. It's one more post I want to talk about, and it's this one. And it's talking about what we as squatties need to expect. It's going to get rough. It is going to be bumpy. I'm going to be on here sweating. Y'all know when I get hyped, I get a little perspiration around here. I do. Because I am passionate about that. I cannot stand how they treat Harry and Meghan. And I get a little passionate about it. I do. I do get a little passionate about it. But understand that this trial is going to bring out everything they got, including the kitchen sink. Now, I know Harry is prepared for that, but whew, it's going to be rough. And this particular squatty posted about it and said this: things are going to get nasty over the next few weeks. It is. Just get prepared for it. We're going to be on here talking about it. We're going to be on here pushing back about it. But it's going to get pretty bumpy. And it said, and this squatty said, they know the best way to attack him is through his wife and kids. Remain vigilant and calm. Exactly. Got to be vigilant and we got to be calm and we got to push back. And it says, he knows what he's doing and they are a team. Exactly. Meghan and Harry are a team. They have absolutely charted the waters so far. And they have had some tough, tough waters to chart. We as Squatties we've had some tough waters to chart at also. But like I said, we'll get through it. We have gotten through it. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Ain't no in, it ain't no in and it ain't no out today. Bye.